Have you ever wondered why your nights feel more restless with each passing year? If you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, and you're waking up more often than you'd like, feeling that dull pressure low in your belly, or sensing that something down there just isn't quite right, please know this: you're far from alone. I've spent years sitting with men who quietly carried these concerns, too embarrassed or too tired to bring them up. And through all those conversations, one truth kept showing up again and again. It's not just aging, it's what we do before we sleep. Tonight, I want to gently open your eyes to 5 nighttime habits that may seem innocent, but over time, quietly chip away at your prostate health. No scare tactics here, just real lived experience and lessons backed by years of caring for men like you. Because here's the tough part: most of these habits don't feel harmful. A tall glass of water before bed, a salty dinner, telling yourself, "I'll go to the bathroom in the morning." These tiny choices don't shout, they whisper. But night after night, they build pressure, stir inflammation, and put wear on a gland that's already doing too much. So I invite you to stick around until the end, not just to hear what the habits are, but to learn how to ease the burden on your body in small, doable ways. You may be just one quiet shift away from sleeping deeper, feeling more relaxed in your lower body, and waking up with a renewed sense of control. Let's take that first step together. Let's start with something that catches a lot of good folks off guard: drinking too much water before bed. Now, that might sound harmless, especially since most of us have been told to stay hydrated for our kidneys, digestion, and overall health. And that's still true. But here's the part no one really talks about. When most of your water is going in late at night, it's not just your bladder that has to handle it. It's your prostate too. As we age, the prostate naturally begins to swell. It's subtle, but it matters. That little gland starts pressing on the urinary tube, slowing the flow, and making it harder to fully empty your bladder. Now imagine adding more water to that system right before you sleep. Instead of resting deeply, your body has to keep waking up, again and again, just to deal with it. At first, you might think, "I'm just getting older. This is normal." But really, what's happening is a cycle. More fluid means more pressure, and more pressure leads to more inflammation. Over time, your symptoms get worse. The urgency builds, the bathroom trips multiply, and your sleep suffers. I remember talking with a man named Walter. He was 82. Every night, he drank 2 full glasses of water before bed. He told me it helped him flush out toxins while he slept. But when I asked him the last time he actually slept through the night, he paused. "It's been over a decade," he said. "We made one small change. He started drinking most of his water before dinner, especially before 6 p.m. After that, just a few light sips if he felt thirsty. Within a week, he was waking up only once a night instead of 4 or 5 times. He smiled and said, 'I thought I had a prostate problem. Turns out it was just a timing problem.' So no, you don't need to stop drinking water, but give your body a break. Try moving your hydration earlier in the day, and if you do feel thirsty before bed, go slow, just a sip, not a full glass. Let your body rest. Let your prostate rest. You might be surprised by how much better you feel in the morning." Number 2, eating salty or processed foods at night. If you're like many folks in their 60s or 70s, dinner might be your biggest meal of the day. A little comfort food to unwind, maybe a frozen dinner, a bowl of canned soup, or a few slices of deli meat. It seems harmless enough. But when it comes to your prostate, meals like these can quietly set the stage for a rough night. The issue isn't just the salt itself. It's what salt does once it's inside your body. Salty foods make you hold on to more fluid throughout the day. And when your body finally tries to let go of that fluid, it's usually while you're sleeping. That means more bathroom trips, more bladder pressure, and more stress on a prostate that's already doing too much. But it's not just about how many times you wake up. It's about how much harder your body has to work when it's supposed to be resting. When you eat a high-sodium dinner, especially one that's heavily processed, your kidneys stay active long into the night. Your circulation stays on high alert, and your body never quite settles into deep, healing sleep. For men with an enlarged prostate, that can mean hours of hidden tension in the pelvis. You wake up feeling heavy, swollen, and more inflamed than the night before. I remember a man named Glenn. 76 years old, who couldn't figure out why he was waking up so much at night. He told me, "I don't drink water late. I even go to the bathroom before bed." But when we looked at his dinners, the picture became clear. Most nights, it was canned chili, TV dinners, or salty snack mixes. Quick and easy, but rough on the body. He made a small shift, swapped in fresh vegetables, some grilled chicken, a lighter plate with less sodium. Within 3 nights, he told me, "I didn't realize how much tension was building up down there until it stopped." The truth is, your prostate doesn't just respond to liquids, it responds to how your whole body feels. And salty, processed foods change that balance. They raise blood pressure. They slow circulation. They make it harder for your body to release fluids the way it's supposed to. That means more pressure near the bladder, more irritation in the prostate, and more restless nights, just when you need rest the most. So if you're heading to bed full of salt and preservatives, try a gentler dinner. Think warm vegetables, some grilled fish or chicken, or a bowl of oatmeal or brown rice. Something that fills you up, but doesn't weigh you down. Let your body calm down. Let your sleep come easier. Now, if you found this insight helpful, go ahead and leave a comment with the number 2 so I know you're still here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do that now. Your support helps us keep making thoughtful content like this, to inform and inspire you and your loved ones. Let's move forward. Number 3, holding in urine during the night. A lot of older men wake up in the middle of the night with the urge to go, but they don't. Maybe they're too tired. Maybe it just feels easier to turn over and try to fall back asleep. I get it. No one wants to get out of a warm bed unless they absolutely have to. But here's something many men don't realize. Holding in urine during the night puts quiet, steady strain on both the bladder and the prostate. And over time, that strain adds up. When you resist the urge to go, your bladder keeps filling. It stretches more than it should. At first, it seems harmless. But as the bladder expands night after night, its walls become thinner, less flexible, and more irritable. And here's where it starts to affect your prostate. The longer that urine sits, the more pressure builds in your lower urinary tract. That pressure pushes right back on the prostate, especially if it's already enlarged. Over time, that extra pressure can lead to more inflammation, slower urine flow, and even a greater risk of infection. This isn't just a comfort issue. It's mechanical. It's real. And once the bladder gets too full, it becomes harder to empty completely. What's left behind, that residual urine, becomes the perfect place for bacteria to grow. That leads to irritation, more frequent urges, and sometimes painful infections. And for someone with a sensitive or aging prostate, that's the last thing you need. I remember a man named Leonard. He was 81, and he told me he avoided getting out of bed at night unless it was absolutely urgent. But every morning, he felt this tightness in his lower belly. Even after he urinated, he still had that uncomfortable feeling, like something hadn't fully emptied. I encouraged him to try something simple. Just get up and go when the urge comes, even if it's only once or twice a night. He gave it a try. And within a few days, he felt a real difference. Less pressure, fewer lingering sensations, and noticeably better flow in the morning. He said, "Turns out, my body had been telling me what it needed all along. I was just ignoring it." Our bodies speak to us in signals. That urge to go, it's not just a nuisance. It's a message, a reminder to release tension, to protect your health. Because the longer you hold it in, the more tension your body holds onto. And when that tension builds, your prostate feels it too. Now, of course, you don't want to be getting up every hour. That's why avoiding late-night fluids or salty meals can help a lot. But when your body sends the signal, listen. Respond gently. Let your system reset. Your prostate will thank you in the morning. Number 4, sleeping on your stomach. Out of all the sleep positions out there, this one might seem the least connected to prostate health. But if you're a man over 60 and you tend to fall asleep face down, it's worth taking a closer look, because that position might be putting quiet, steady pressure exactly where your body doesn't need it, your pelvic region. Here's what happens when you sleep on your stomach. Your weight shifts forward, and that creates subtle but constant pressure on your lower abdomen, your bladder, and the area around your prostate. You might not notice anything at first, especially if you've been sleeping that way for years. But over time, that pressure can interfere with blood flow, increase tension in the pelvic area, and make it harder for your lower body to drain fluids properly. Now remember, the prostate is small, but it's a sensitive little gland. It doesn't take much pressure used especially repeated every night to stir up inflammation and swelling. And when that happens, urine flow slows down, discomfort builds, and you're left wondering why things don't feel quite right in the morning. I remember a man named Harold, 74 years old. He came in complaining about tightness in his lower belly that showed up most mornings. At first, he thought it was digestion, but when we talked through his nightly routine, something stood out. He always slept on his stomach, with one leg curled up to the side. We tried a small change. He switched to sleeping on his side, with a pillow between his knees. A few weeks later, he told me, "I didn't realize how much tension I was holding down there until I let it go." Now, you don't need to force yourself into a new position that feels unnatural, but it's worth experimenting. Side sleeping, especially on your left side, helps relieve pressure on your internal organs. It also improves blood flow to the pelvic area. Some men also find relief by slightly elevating their legs or using a wedge pillow to ease downward pressure on the bladder and prostate. It's a quiet adjustment, but it matters because you spend 6 to 8 hours every night in that position, and even a small shift can bring big relief over time. So if you're dealing with nighttime urgency, lower belly pressure, or you're waking up without feeling rested, take a moment to think about how you're sleeping. A small adjustment tonight might be the thing that gives your prostate some relief tomorrow. If this has been helpful, feel free to leave a comment with the number 4, just to let me know you're still here. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you won't miss future videos that support your health, your comfort, and your peace of mind. Let's keep going. Number 5, ignoring the urge to urinate before going to bed. It might seem like no big deal. You're already in bed, comfortable and settled in, and you tell yourself, "I'll just go in the morning." But for older men, especially those with an aging or enlarged prostate, skipping that final trip to the bathroom can quietly lead to more problems than you think. Here's why. When you go to sleep with a partially full bladder, that urine just sits there for hours. And during that time, it puts steady pressure on the bladder walls and indirectly on your prostate too. At first, it might not feel like much, but over time, that pressure creates more than just physical strain. It creates irritation, inflammation, a kind of quiet stress your body carries all night long. It also sends a signal that something in the system isn't being handled. And your prostate responds to that signal, sometimes in ways that aren't so helpful. As the prostate naturally enlarges with age, it already presses a bit on the urethra, the tube that carries urine out. So when urine sits too long, especially if you're not fully emptying later on, that leftover volume becomes the perfect environment for bacteria and low-level inflammation. The more often this happens, the more it can affect your comfort and your quality of sleep. I remember a man named Peter, 69 years old. He told me he didn't usually go to the bathroom before bed, not because he didn't care, just out of habit. "I never felt like I had to go that badly," he said. But over time, he started waking up more during the night. And in the mornings, it became harder for him to fully empty his bladder. So I encouraged him to try something simple. Make a point to go every night before turning in, even if it was just a little. And he did. Within days, he noticed real change. Fewer interruptions, easier mornings, and what he described as less tension down there. That's the thing. Urinating before bed isn't just about urgency. It's about routine. It's about maintenance. When you empty your bladder at night, you give your system a reset. You give your prostate a break, and you give your body a better shot at true rest without pressure building up while you sleep. Even if the urge feels mild, responding to it tells your body, "We're done for the day. You can rest now." Some men find it helpful to build this into their nightly rhythm. Brush your teeth, wash your face, and go, even just a little. It's not about how much. It's about signaling balance and peace. And over time, this one small step can help reduce swelling, ease nighttime urgency, and bring a gentler rhythm to your lower body. Your prostate will thank you, and so will your sleep. Final thoughts. So many men quietly accept their prostate issues as just another part of growing older. The late night bathroom trips, that pressure that never quite goes away, that nagging feeling like you're never really empty. But what if some of that discomfort wasn't just age? What if it was habit? And what if changing just a few small things at night could finally give your body and your prostate the relief it's been needing? Today, we walked through 5 simple habits that many older men do without even thinking about them. Drinking too much water before bed, eating salty or processed dinners, holding in urine, sleeping in positions that press on the pelvis, and skipping that final trip to the bathroom. None of these sound dangerous on their own, but over time, they slowly add pressure, slow things down, and make your already sensitive prostate work harder than it needs to. The good news is, your body wants to heal. It doesn't need a miracle pill. It just needs you to stop doing the things that hurt it. Let go of the habits that make your nights harder and your mornings heavier. Give your prostate what it's been quietly asking for: a little more space, a little more rest, and a little less stress. So ask yourself, which of these habits have you been doing without even realizing it? And which one are you ready to change tonight? Leave a comment and share